So welcome to all of you, and wonderful the third session of Vidya Vritti session. You have all gathered here. Let me extend a warm welcome to all of you. Om, Om, Om. Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunattu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavati tamastu mave vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Hari Om to all of you. We are now going to start the session. I request Meena ma'am to have the three speakers, from eminent personalities, are going to conduct the sessions today. I request Meena to introduce first to Gauri Lakshmi, principal of Anna Nagar School, and start the session.
Thank you, Shanti Amma. Welcome to everybody here. And Gauri Lakshmi has been the principal of Chinmaya Vidyalaya Anna Nagar. She comes with 17 years of experience as a principal and over 28 years of teaching experience. And with all these years of experience, she's gained a lot of awards from different organizations, ranging from Lakshmi Educational Trust to Lions Club to West Cluster CBSE School, etc. And she has also been instrumental in getting the International School Award for the Anna Nagar Vidyalaya, given by the International Learning in the School, also from British Council. She has been the appointed by the CBSE for inspection committee. She has inspected many CBSE schools, and needless to say, she is one of our own CCMT EC's assessor. So many of you in many schools may recognize her, and she has been instrumental in getting the Seva Award with 254 students completing 120 hours of service, the Pal Seva certificates for her school, Chinmaya Vidyalaya Anna Nagar, and she has also got the Chinmaya Samshodhan Award for the Chinmaya Vidyalaya Anna Nagar, encouraging teachers to do a lot of research. So we welcome Gauri Lakshmi Amma to continue the session.
Before she commences, Gauri Amma is going to speak on collaboration, the importance of collaboration among teachers. And before that, I would also like to welcome our Swami Anukulanandaji, who has blessed us with his presence today. And of course, Suresh Mohanji has been always encouraging us, and he's also there. Let's extend a warm welcome to both of them. And over to Gauri Amma. Hari Om Swamiji. Hari Om.
Hari Om Swamiji, Hari Om Shanti Amma. Yeah. Can I start sharing my screen?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Right side gallery, yeah, I don't know how to close this. Yes.
You go ahead. This presentation is seen.
Yes, but I'm not able to see because one side the view is there. I'll
what
just.
You have to just drag it and bring it down. You can just drag it. Or you go to view.
Yes, ma'am. I'm just. I have dragged it. Okay, thank you.
Fine. Yeah.
Yes. Again here. 1 minute. 1 minute. This view is not going. I'll adjust it. This has to. 1 minute. I'll just adjust this. Thank you. Hari Om to all of you. Pranams to Puja Gurudev, pranams to Puja Guruji, and my pranams to Swami Anukulanandaji also. and Hari Om to Shanti Amma. And I take this opportunity to thank Shanti Amma for giving me this opportunity to talk in Vidya Vritti series. I'm really very, very happy about it. And I'm also thankful to you for suggesting me a very good topic to present today. That is collaborate to excel, building and sustaining effective teams in school. This is, I want to start with our Gurudev's quote. Achievements are not earned through proficiency alone. They are in fact rewards of our efficiency. Proficiency is gathered knowledge, while efficiency is the ability to translate the knowledge into action. Actions are the louder expression of thought. The quality of thought is ordered by the nature of our inner belief and faith. See, all our Chinmaya Vidyalayas are really doing good. We are all really efficient to manage so many things. But whenever we do these actions, it has to be in line with mission and vision of our Gurudev. That is important. See, we all know that coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress. Working together is success. That working together is a very, very important aspect for a school. And really, it is a very difficult task for the leader to get the work done by the people. For that, we require collaboration. Generally, things are possible. See, this is in a school, how a school should be. When we talk about the school, teachers and students they are very, very important in the school. See, when we have a school, the teachers, those who are in the school, they should be flexible, they should be open-minded, they should have the reflective practice, leadership qualities, risk-taking, very cooperative, and having willingness for individual learning and group learning. When all the teachers in the school, they are having all these qualities, then it is easy for us to improve the people learning outcomes. Definitely the teacher will be helping us to improve the people learning outcomes, and she will manage and learn from change, and the teachers will sustain their own development also. It is not only help them to develop, they will in turn help in the growth of the school also. For this, when the teachers are entering with this kind of the qualities inside the school, they are coming to the school, then with the teachers, the collaboration process should start. What is actually collaboration? All of us know very well that it is working together. We know very well that all of us should come together, work together for a particular goal. It involves individual teachers in a school choosing to come together to investigate and learn more about an aspect of their practice in order to enhance the learning of the children they teach or the school as an educational community. This is educational community showing us as an educational community is very, very important. Collaboration always requires questioning, discussion, and reflection on their own practice, and at the same time, investigate the knowledge that already available with us, and as well as work together to make sense of their own and external knowledge. Effectively, it is a group of peers facilitating learning for each other and being honest with each other about their own practice and belief. This is very, very important. It is not only facilitating, they have to be very, very honest with each other about their own practice. So whatever they are practicing, they should be very honest in doing this. This requires high level of intra and interpersonal skills, including skills of facilitation, an understanding of group processes, and effective communication, and as well as personal qualities, including honesty, sensitivity, commitment, and trust. Why collaboration needed in a school? Why we should think about it? See, there are certain aspects which we have to, because of this reason. So
principles. Every Saturday.
There is an Emma, ma'am, can I continue? Somebody is talking.
Yeah, somebody is 1 minute. I'll mute everybody. And I'll unmute you only. Otherwise, it's getting, somebody is disturbing. Now you unmute, Amma. Can you unmute? Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, there is an emergent consensus that the top-down reform initiatives are not sufficient as a long-term strategy to support continuous development, improved performance in school. See, earlier, the top-down reform initiative means only the senior people will be deciding everything in the school, and it will be straight informed to the teachers and they will be performing. This is called as top-down reform initiative. But this is not sufficient nowadays. The context has shifted towards informed professionalism and a belief that school will need to find their own ways to respond to the challenges of the society and the 21st century. What is informed professionalism? Now everywhere, people will be talking about professionalism is very, very important. There is something called as uninformed professionalism and informed professionalism. Informed professionalism is something, the person should have a deep knowledge about the subject, and with the knowledge, the person should perform it. That is only called as what? Informed professionalism. And that informed professionalism is happening now, and for that the school should find out their own ways to respond to the challenges of the society. Next, there is a shift towards cooperation, not competition between schools, which will support the development of collaborative inquiry across the schools. See, now CBSE has also introduced the concept called as hubs of learning. See, earlier, the schools which are all close by, now they are forming a team. It's called as hubs schools, and they are sharing all the best practices, resources, everything among themselves. So there is something called as cooperation is seen. Now the competition is not seen that much. Competition should be there, but the cooperation aspect is given much more importance nowadays. The nature and understanding about effective continuous professional development, because normally to make the teachers to do good in the school, the professional development, we will be having professional development courses, or we will organize so many programs for them. But the nature and understanding about the effective continuous professional development is completely changing, with more of the opportunities being site-based and directly linked to school practices and priorities. See, this is no, it is completely school-based. We have to plan everything based on the school need only. See, the school priorities, what do you mean by school priorities? Here I said that site-based or directly linked to school practices and priorities. See, this is almost, the school priorities are always connected to our vision and mission also. So, here we can say the school priorities can be global citizenship, community engagement, toward justice and the common good, academic excellence, holistic development. These are all called as what? Priorities, school priorities. School practices is supporting and caring environment, coherent curriculum and evaluation, strategic resource allocation, developing professional practices, and also things are called as what? School practices. So the continuous professional development should be in such way that it is encouraging, or it is linked to the school practices and priorities. It is based on a belief that teaching needs to be a research-oriented profession, with the teachers being encouraged to relate all their methodologies, the recent methodologies and technologies in teaching and learning. That is very, very important. So it should be like a research orientation. So the teacher should continuously learn. And this will also help teachers to use more reflective practice to analyze, improve, again try. So this is called as a reflective practice. It is encouraging reflective practice. And it is also encouraging professional dialogue among the teachers, because whenever they are in the school, when this collaboration is there, automatically the professional dialogues will be there in the school. In what way collaboration is going to help us? So we talk about collaboration. We said, what is the necessity for the collaboration? This collaboration is definitely helping us to achieve a common goal. it definitely increases the competency of the teachers. It is to encourage flexibility in the school. It helps us to develop a friendly environment. It enhances problem solving. It motivates the workforce. We get a lot of good ideas and mutual support can be seen. And it will also give a sense of accomplishment. This way the collaboration will definitely help. I can do things, sir. You cannot. You can do things, sir, which I cannot. Together, we can do great things, sir. So that togetherness, how are we going to do, that we have to see. 5 key areas of collaboration. Talking about this, these are all the very important areas where a leader should plan for collaboration. The leader should have all these 5 points in her mind before planning for collaboration. Goals, what the team aspires to achieve. Roles, the part each member plays in achieving the goal. Procedures, the methods that help the team to work together. Relationship, how the team member get along with each other. Leadership, how the leaders support the team in achieving. The last role is very important for all the leaders. We need to support the team in achieving all the other 4 areas: goals, roles, procedures, relationship. As a team, we can always free. See, whenever we are forming a team, see, when we are after identifying the key areas, it is now how are we going to form a team? See, we will be selecting few people. We do not know. See, to some extent, we will be knowing the potentials of each and every teacher. So we will try to form some kind of a group and we will allocate some projects or important work for that team. See, there are 5 important stages in forming a team. That is forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So in this on all these stages, the behavior of the team members is also important, and as well as the role of the leader. Now here we are going to see at each and every stage how the team will behave, what will be the role of the leader. The first stage is called as forming. So immediately it is the leader, the school principal will form a team for a particular goal. In the forming stage, most team members are positive and polite. Some are anxious as they have not fully understood what work the team will do. Others are simply excited about the task ahead. So here, the duty of the leader is to direct the team and establish clear objectives. Next stage is called as storming session. It is a very, very crucial stage, I should say. Here, people start to push against the boundaries established in the forming stage. So we form and we will say broadly the clear objectives of the direct the team and establish a clear objective. We will explaining the goals there. But people start to push against the boundaries established in the forming stage. This is the stage where many teams will fail because there will be a lot of arguments. Will be there, which the principal has to deal it in a very careful manner. So what is the role of the leader here is establish processes and structures properly, build a trust and good relationship between team members, resolve conflicts swiftly if they occur, provide support, especially to those team members who are all less secure. This point is very, very important. The team members, those who are feeling less secure, for them only, we have to give them a lot of support. Sometimes, they will be having a lot of potential. They may not know how to come out and show that to us. So somehow we have to give our support to the team members who are less secure. Remain positive and firm in terms of challenges to leadership or to the team's goal. So lot of suggestions will come at this stage. So the leader should be very strong in saying that this is needed, this is not needed. Next stage is called as norming stage. People start to resolve their differences. After all those things, people will start to resolve their differences, appreciate colleagues' strength, and respect the authority. This is slight improvement. From the storming, they will come to this stage. When this is happening, the leader should step back a little. We have to move away from this team and help team members take the responsibility for progress towards the goal. We should allow them to work independently. We got to move little away from them so that no, they are planning everything and they will decide a lot of things and they will try to bring out whatever is needed. Then comes the performing stage. The team reaches the performing stage. Here, hard work leads without friction to the achievement of the team's goals. The structures and process that have set up support this well. So in the key areas we discussed about it, structures and processes are very important. So after this norming stage, they will go back, they will think what are the processes and structures we discussed, and they will start applying or they will start using all those things in the performing stage. Here what we have to do is delegate tasks and projects. Once the team is achieving well, the leader can give a light touch to their work. So at the performing level, we need to slightly go inside and understand what is happening. And when something is not going, we have to give a light touch to the work. It is not that changing the entire thing. If we do like that, no, the motivation level will come down. So the light touch is needed there. So in the performing level, somewhere around 99% will achieve. And adjourning stage, many teams will reach the stage eventually, and we have to take the time to celebrate the team's achievement. Celebrating the team's achievement is very, very important in the stages of forming a team and to make the collaboration successful. Just to sustain this collaboration, see here what is happening. The leaders, when they are helping the team to work, certain things from our side also, from the leader's side also, we should be very, very careful. These are all certain things. Normally, in general, it will not happen, but we have to keep all such things in our mind. Just avoid favoritism, give credits when necessary. Let employees make a mistake. Let the teachers make a mistake. From the mistake, they will try to learn. We need to communicate effectively. We have to set processes. We have to say this is the way this has to. Initially, we have to say all those things. Do not criticize. Align group goals with organization goals. Motivate. Always we have to motivate the team. And the assessment, periodic assessment is required. Now and then we have to have frequent meetings with the team, sit with them, understand what is happening, and we have to give our suggestion also. Whenever this thing is happening, collaboration is there, the discipline should also be there in the team. That is very important. And we should know how to manage the conflicts and do not take the decisions alone. We have to discuss with people and then we have to do them. These are all very important things which the leaders should do when collaboration is happening. Sustaining collaboration, these are all know these 4 important things if we keep in our mind, that is more than enough. Say appreciating and recognizing. This is whoever is working for any kind of a project, it is general human nature. Appreciation and recognition is always needed. So appreciating and recognizing is very, very important. And sense of belongingness, this is also important. And we need to respect the views of the team which is collaborating, and incentive and rewards if definitely motivate the team members to perform well. This after forming this kind of
Let's try to wind up quickly.
Yeah, then next after this collaboration, when a team is working like this, we will be able to identify the people, those who are having the potential to become the future leaders. How to empower teachers to be the leaders. And a true leader is one who is able to extend his or her leadership to others and allow them to lead positive change. We need to provide teachers with an opportunity to participate in meetings that drive annual planning of academics and other activities of the school. To participate in the process of decision making on school policy, strategy, and mission. Support their initiative and ideas for professional development, change implementation, strategies, deadliness, and deadlines and logistics. Encourage teachers to set out personal goals and offer your support in making them happen through professional development. and encourage them to organize department related seminars, capacity building programs, exhibition, etc. Because whenever they are organizing, they will plan, we will come to know about them a lot. Support teachers to facilitate a mentorship program that supports onboarding of new teachers with resources, constructive feedback, and consistent support when needed. And foster an environment that supports collaboration and team building. Emphasis on communication to build a positive and safe environment. This is very, very important. Show teachers that you appreciate what they do in and out of the classroom every day. There are so many ways to show appreciation to teachers, and often a simple thank you and a smile can make a teacher's day. So these are all the way we can empower teachers to be the future leaders. This is what I want to say about the collaboration and empowering the teachers to be the future leader. Our present work may be great or small, and the important thing is to do it well. This is our Swami Chinmayananda ji told all of us. So Hari Om and thank you. Any questions related to it?
We'll see. We'll take the questions later if you have questions.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Gauri Amma. I think if one thing, if anybody asks me, the school should do well, what is one thing that is really, really important? Of course, a lot of things have to happen. That one thing I would say, teacher empowerment and collaborating, working together for a common goal. If a school is strong in that, I don't think that nobody can stop the progress of that school. When teachers work together, the goal of the school is very, very clear. I think that does a lot of work. And then another important thing is also the succession planning. People talk about one principal goes, the school collapses. What do we do with the school? So when you empower the people, a lot of leaders are brought up in the school itself. Even in some of the countries, they are trying out mathematics alone being taught. 5 teachers teach the class. Somebody takes calculus, somebody takes their own expertise, area of expertise. When they do it, it does amazing wonders. And there is a lot of place in a school, space in a school for everybody to grow. That has to be, one cannot spoil the other's growth. That's the one problem there in a school. People become jealous of others and all of that. Everybody growing together, everybody can evolve together. And so many leaders are in a school, nobody can stop the progress of that school. Beautifully presented. I like all these various points. I think teachers should deliberate on this. It's a very, very important topic, and Gauri Amma justified it so beautifully. Thank you so much, Gauri Amma. It was a wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. Then we move on to the next presenter. Let Meena Amma. I request Meena Amma to introduce Mr. Kishore Kulkarni.
Yes, Amma. Yes, Amma. Mr. Kishore Kulkarni is one of the newest principals of Chinma Vidyalaya. He's joined in 2020. However, he comes with a lot of experience. He's had 24 years of experience in education itself. He's a PGT in physics, and he's done a lot of work with other institutions like Sri Satya Sai Education, Mumbai, and the group of schools that are connected with it. And even after coming into the Shegao school, he's a principal of NV Chinmaya Vidyalaya Shegao, which is in Maharashtra. He has helped them put up science projects at state and national level. So welcome Mr. Kishore Kulkarni, who will be presenting on the manifold perspectives of a teacher. Welcome, sir.
Yeah. Respected Shanti Amma, Swami Anukulanand ji, and
Got to be a little more louder, Kishore ji. Just be louder.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Am I audible now?
Louder, little louder. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Am I audible now, Amma? Is it okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you. So, respected Shanti Amma, Swami Anukulanand ji, and all principals of Vidyalayas, Hari Om to one and all. Today's my topic is manifold perspectives of a teacher. It is rightly said that the destiny of nation is shaped in its classroom. This is a statement given by Kothari Commission in 1964. So the development, everything about the nation that takes place in the classrooms only. That is the importance of classrooms, and there is a lot of significance of teacher. We know that teaching is the noblest profession in all professions. And I'm sure that we must have done some good karmas in previous birth. That's why we are teachers. And to get associated with such value-based schools, like Chinmaya schools, definitely we must have done something good in previous births. That's why we are associated with these Vidyalayas. In 2003, Outlook magazine has done one survey and they found that which are the top 20 professionals. So top 4 professionals at serial number 4 it was soldier, then third it was doctor, second it was farmer, and can you guess who is on first? Yes, it was teacher. So that much importance is given to the teacher. And definitely as we are teacher, definitely we are chosen instruments by the Gurudev to spread his vision and mission. See, here is one example that water tank and bucket. Just like water in a tank, if water is pure in the tank, then definitely in bucket, pure water will be there. Here this water tank represents teacher. If teacher is dynamic, enthusiastic, value-based, then definitely water that is coming in this bucket, that means water has been received by the students, that will be pure. Now, teacher has to perform different roles. He is a nation builder. He has to act as a counselor. He is a creative thinker. He has to act as a leader. He is a social reformer. Then he has to be visionary. He has to be friend, guide, and philosopher also. Basically, teacher is a kingmaker. Teacher has the highest status in society since ancient times. Even the kings also used to bow before the teacher. Even Lord Krishna also used to bow before Sandipani, and even Lord Rama to his teacher Vasishtha. And nowadays also, teacher has that highest status in the society. So, let's see one by one. Teacher as a visionary. The dictionary meaning of visionary is that a person who has foresight or imagination. Teacher should have strong bond with the child. Teacher should be able to understand the child. He is concerned not only with the IQ, that is development of intelligent quotient, but emotional quotient, social quotient, and happiness quotient also. So, what is important here is that besides IQ, EQ, SQ, HQ, that is happiness quotient, is also very important. So, we know that Bhutan is the only country that is having highest happiness quotient. So, our children should also become happy. Then, a visionary teacher always talks and walks about the school vision. Just like this Chinmaya Vidyalayas, the motto is school with a difference. What is the difference between these Vidyalayas and other schools? If there are 10 students of different schools, then one can easily point out who is from Chinmaya Vidyalayas. And if that happens, that means it is a school with a difference. And another motto is always keep smiling. Then, besides this, teacher has to play a role of counselor also. Teacher must understand that every child is a unique. Besides academics, he has to teach the child. Teacher has to go beyond the teaching. Teacher should be able to understand the problems faced by the students. Today, children face many challenges, like academic pressure, feeling of inadequacy, comparison with siblings, high expectations of parents. Nowadays, each parent think that his son or daughter should become engineer or IITian without taking into account the capacity of his child. So knowingly, unknowingly, it builds a lot of pressure on the mind of the students. Sometimes lack of family ties also, or warmth, or no family support. So teachers should be able to understand what are the problems, what are the challenges faced by the students. Before scolding any students, suppose some student has not submitted essays or homework, then just find out what are the reasons behind that, instead of only scolding. Because it is said that no behavior is without meaning. There is some meaning behind the behavior of each and every child. And one thing a teacher must remember, that students may forget what was taught, but remembers how he was taught. Teacher must teach the child with love. There should be law and love. Still, I remember that in 2001, one first batch of our class 10th passed out. And after almost 16 years, one student came to meet me. And he told me that, sir, I still remember the way you used to teach us physics. I said, okay, tell me Newton's second law. He said, sir, I don't remember Newton's second law or anything, but the way you used to teach us that, I don't remember physics, but the way you used to teach, or the way you used to make jokes in our while teachings related to physics, or some incidents based on scientists that you used to narrate, that stories we still remember. So students may forget what was taught, but remembers how it was taught. So taught them with love. Teacher has to be a creative thinker. See, Swamiji says that how to think is more important than what to think. Instead of solving hundreds of questions on the blackboard of mathematics, it is better to solve only one question and explain that. And then students should be able to understand that question. And then students should be able to apply that knowledge to solving all the remaining questions. Here is one question. Those who are having mathematics background, they can easily solve this question. One question is here. If you want to eat more quantity of laddu, then which laddu you will prefer? There are three options. One laddu of 2 centimeter radius. Option B, 2 laddus of 1 centimeter radius. And option C, either A or B, because both are equal. So you may answer this question in chat box. Which option would you like to? Okay, any answer in chat box? Let me check chat box. Okay. See, while teaching, while taking the interviews of teachers, when same question was asked to mathematics teacher, then I still remember that some of them said either A or B because both are equal. And then this question was asked, what is the formula for volume of a sphere? And they said, it is 4 by 3 pi r cube. That formula was also known to the teachers, but they were unable to apply it. Laddu is just a spherical body And if you think from that point of view, then definitely the answer would be 1 laddu of 2 centimeter radius, because volume of this laddu will be much more, okay, as compared to this. And both either A or B, both are equal. That is wrong answer. Anyway, that means even if students know the formula, then how to apply that formula in day-to-day life, that is important. So teacher has to be creative thinker, and he should develop such questions or how to apply that formulas in our day-to-day life. Then teacher as a social reformer. For students, teacher is, in fact, up to class 5th, teacher is a god for the students. They listen to teachers. So teacher must motivate the child not to use plastics or thermocoals or save electricity. When students are on playground, then they should switch off the electricity buttons. Even how to use water, okay. Then nowadays, from 27th October to 2nd November, it is a Vigilance Week. So there is circular from CBSE also, and how to take this integrity pledge. So we must motivate the children to take this integrity pledge, even in Jana Andolan also against COVID-19. So we must motivate the child to follow all these things. Then teacher as a leader, lead an ideal life. Teacher is a role model. So students follow what you do and not what you tell. They observe a lot. I still remember that on first day, on 10th of October, when this, in first session, it was conducted by Rajeshwari ma'am, and she did one activity that just put your hands on head or cheeks and nose. That activity was performed by Rajeshwari ma'am. And that activity, that explains that students follow what you do and not what you tell. So first be, then do, and then tell. It is also rightly said that values are not taught, but to be caught. Then this picture explains what is the role of teacher. He is a vehicle, wheel of this bicycle. If one wheel is parent, then another wheel is teacher, and then only that student can ride the bicycle properly. Now, all these qualities should be possessed by teachers. Basically, there are 3 types of teachers. One is complaining type teachers, another is explaining, and third is inspiring type teachers. Complaining type teachers always keep on complaining that this is not happening, students are not responding, they are not submitting, students are so naughty in the class, I am unable to teach, okay, because of the students. So many complaints are there. So such types of teachers only keeps on complaining. But there are another type of teacher, that is explaining type teachers. So explaining type teachers, that means they only keep on explaining. That is the education from head to head. They have subject command, subject knowledge, and they just want to omit that knowledge. Without understanding the capacity of students, they keep on explaining. That's why Swamiji said that children are not a vessel to be filled, but a lamp to be lit. So only explanation is also not enough. So how that takes place, this is a picture from one of the movie, and this movie explains if only what explaining teacher can do. Then another type of teacher is inspiring type teachers. These types of teachers explains from heart to heart. That is not an artificial education, but it is artificial education. They understand the child. taking into account psychology of the child, and they teach the children. They motivate the child to learn. So in which category our teachers are, that we need to see, and see that all teachers are of inspiring teachers, motivating type teachers. Then, of course, we have to inculcate or give this knowledge, skills, and values among the children. So where we stand, what teachers are doing, whether they are doing the role to only instruct or inspire, that has to be seen. Whether that education is artificial or artificial, that we have to see. Or to teach, only to teach, or to motivate to learn. These are the points on which we have to ponder. And there is divinity in each child. Every child is unique. Just teacher must try to understand and made to understand the divinity within the child. There are so many good schools, but it is expected that schools should not be only good schools, but it should be happy schools. Happy schools means in which children are happy, teachers are happy, and ultimately society and nation is happy. And thus, happiness quotient of the nation can be increased by teachers. Teacher is the soul of education. That's why in first slide, we have seen that destiny of nation is shaped in a classroom. We have to play a very vital role. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kulkarni. Really wonderful. Swamini Amma used to ask this one question, whether you are in this profession by choice or by compulsion. Because if it is even by compulsion, we have no other choice. We have to make it an option. Because we do play multiple roles in a school, the different perspectives of a teacher. We need to keep the vision in mind, why I'm here, what I'm doing. And also one thing I really liked about this one presentation is the social responsibilities of the teacher. The teacher has to play a role that how the child goes outside as a social responsible person, like a lesson on whatever lesson being taught on electricity or something, children need to know what is his responsibility to be conserving, preserving electricity, all of that. So then only that responsibility is handled, then only we are preparing the child for the life. That was indeed a very, very nice point. And also as a visionary you mentioned, I really liked it. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful presentation. A lot of efforts by Mr. Kulkarni. Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni. Now I request Meena Shriram to introduce the last speaker of the day, Mrs. Meena Vilku from Vidya Bharati Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Jamshedpur. Yes, Meena.
Yeah, Rayoma. Welcome again to all of you, those who have joined in between. So we now have the next presentation on nurturing creativity. I hope you're all ready to listen and learn. And we have Meena Vilku, who's a principal of Vidya Bharati Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Jamshedpur. And she has been in the Jamshedpur school for quite some time, starting from the primary levels, going up to being a principal today. And I must say, reading her resume that she has given us, that she has worked a lot with the junior students, working on holistic and harmonious development, and she has played a very, very key role in the school in imparting value-based education in the school. And today, like Mr. Kulkarni mentioned, she's become an artificial teacher, being a role model to the students in the school. Welcome, Meena Vilku.
Yeah. Yes, Meena.
Yes, madam. Hari Om, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Hari Om. My humble salutations to Pujya Gurudev for bestowing his blessings on us. My worshipful pranams to Pujya Guruji, Swami Tejamananda ji and Swami Swarupananda ji. My special pranams to Swami Anukulananda ji. Let me extend my gratitude to CCMT Education Cell and Madam Shanti for advancing such a platform to us for transsectional learning Let me commence with a quote by Swami Chinmayananda ji. Hurry is not known to the creative expressions in nature outside. The sun rising, the moon setting, the blossoming of the buds, and the arrival of the fruits, the germination of the seed, the fetus in the womb, the bird in the egg, all have no hurry, but each takes its own time to grow and emerge out. How beautifully Pujya Gurudev has encapsulated the essence of creativity. Let me now venture forth. Let me now commence with a quote by Swami Chinmayananda ji. Don't just invest on the child, also invest in the child. Investment on gives outer prosperity. Investment in ensures inner unfoldment and prosperity. True education is investment on the child complemented with investment in the child. Let me now venture forth to the Swamiji's prolific observation. These two quotes shall provide us with much needed insight into the topic of my discussion today, which is nurturing creativity. Before we proceed, let me harp on two major key takeaways which I would like to harp on. Creativity cannot be achieved in haste. It is a gradual process. And above all, we need to invest in the child, provide the child a plethora of opportunities that foster creativity. Before we sojourn into nurturing creativity, let me dilate upon what creativity is. Sir Ken Robinson, speaker and international advisor on education, who passed away recently, opines, I define creativity as the process of having original ideas that have value. Let me draw your attention towards it. If you are not prepared to be wrong, you will never come up with anything original. In a creative environment, mistakes and failures are welcome as a part of process. It is important to understand that many innovations and inventions have come after many mistakes and failures before eventually leading to success. If we simply collate his observation with Pujya Gurudev's observation, we converge once again on the precept of not making haste or hurrying. Let me repeat that creativity is a gradual process and ongoing process. Let us now take an interesting example of the invention of earmuffs. As the story runs, child Chester Greenwood had gigantic ears and they were very sensitive to the cold outside. This boy was an ardent skater and he despised the idea of donning sketchy scarves during skating. The most significant aspect of the story is that he was barely 15 when he came up with the idea of present day's earmuffs, which he referred to as air protectors. It is but imperative for us to note that child Chester was facing a problem, an inclement weather condition, which was an impediment to his skating venture. Moreover, the sketchy scarves were troublesome to him. Let us now try to analyze the quotient of creativity here. The ingenious lad bent the ends of a length of wire into two loops and had his grandmother cover the loops with bits of beaver fur. Thus, earmuffs were invented. The key takeaway from this experiment is that the child was allowed to ideate freely. Maybe he failed in his first attempt, and maybe he got it right at the third or fourth attempt. But the vital point is that there was no hurry, no burden of a mistake or a wrongdoing. Let me add on and apprise all that this anecdote serves as a basic premise to the precept of nurturing creativity, which most of the times we as educators are oblivious to. It is necessary for us to understand the seed of creativity. Child Chester Greenwood ideated or imagined an earmuff in his mind, and then there were a few tangible steps involved in providing a concrete step to it. Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Imagination is the door to possibilities. It is where creativity, ingenuity, and thinking outside the box begins for child development. No one can be creative in 5 minutes. If it would have been so, then there wouldn't be a question of nurturing it. Creativity is not just a eureka moment, it is an ongoing process. Now, as we venture forth to the prolific process of creativity, we need to internalize that we as educators play a pivotal role in each and every phase to nurture creativity. Stimulating the student's imagination with real life situations and problems is the first step towards it. We need to aid their preparation by organizing
We've lost you, Meena. It's not audible now. Rio, I think Meena, you have to go out and come in again. I think it's got disconnected. Hari Om. Am I audible? Am I audible to others? Hari Om, am I audible? Can you put your thumbs up to know whether I am audible? Yeah, I think she has got disconnected, maybe some power issue in her place or something. I don't know what has happened. So just let's wait for her to come back and, sign up that. I wanted to make 2 announcements till she comes back. I probably keep you engaged. First thing is that, we have sent a circular regarding the Gita chanting. We have the Gita Jayanti in the month of December. So CCMT Education Cell has been invited to chant Gita. Schools which are interested and who are very confident of the pronunciations, they should chant. You have to send me a letter of interest saying that yes, our school can participate, and then we will guide you further on that. We will give you a chapter, long chapters. 2 schools will participate. At least a few children have to be collected. You have to think about how you are going to do it. And during this pandemic time, maybe you need to collect children, and the recording procedures and all will be sent by CBA from the education cell. We'll give you a particular chapter, and then we have to do. So we want the names. I've given time till the 7th of November to get back to us who are interested. You think about whether you can collect children who are close by, and you can do the recording. That is one thing that I have to tell you, which I'm waiting for your response by the 7th of November. And the second thing is that I've also sent the circular regarding the Gita 365 app module which has come. See, the first thing here, we had Gauri Amma talking about collaborating and excelling. Excellence happens when we are all together, I tell you. This itself, this program gives me so much of joy to see all the teachers working. It's an education cell program, principals taking initiative and preparing the slides and presenting it. And they so much of homework they have done. I think that's a fantastic thing. So like that, we collaborate each other and work together. That's how is the key for success. And we belong to this beautiful mission, Chinmaya mission. Our Gurudev is the spinal cord of all our schools and all of that. So it is very interesting for us and very, very, it's a responsibility for us to get committed to that mission. So we need to join in this beautiful thing. So download, we have 101 apps in our phones. We have Instagram, Facebook, and Ola, Uber, and Amazon, and whatnot. We have all kinds of apps. This is a very, very important app. Please download it. Tell your teachers, every teacher in Chinmaya Vidyalaya should download this app. No cost involved, nothing is there. Just download this, go to the app store and download Geeta 365. You can see every day one capsule of 2 minutes talks by Gurudev is there. It's prepared by Houston. They have done a fantastic job. I'm really enjoying it. And not just our teachers, I want all parents of our Chinmaya Vidyalayas to enroll. Send that circular. It's available in Hindi as well as in English. Motivate them, inspire them. All of them should download that app, and then, they will enjoy this session. It's a very, very positive, beautiful thing. More we align to our Gurudev, I'm sure we are all together. We will become schools with a difference, people with a difference, teachers with a difference, and let the parents also become parents with a difference. So they need to do that. So I need your kind support in all of that. And so please take a look at that. And last, one more point. I don't know whether she has come. Meena Amma, can talk to her. Can you call her and find out whether Meena Vilku is fine. I just got to give one more instruction. After that, you can complete the session. The last instruction was our Swami's Brahmachari Sanatan Ji, who's here in our CARS, has guided us, and we have now launched the Education Cell channel. We have 25-30 programs have been uploaded, master trainer programs, Saraswata Goshti, all that is there. You can download, and you can just go to YouTube and watch it. I want all of you to watch that and also subscribe to it. This Vidya Vritti talks are also there. Go to YouTube, write Chinmaya Education, CCMT Education Cell channel, subscribe it. Not just you, the principals, but your teachers also have to subscribe to it. Please help me in getting all your teachers also across. So that will make we'll become a strong movement. Then we have a lot of food and we can do a lot of wonders together. So that is, these are the couple of things which I wanted to talk. Now over to Meena, ma'am, complete the session.
Hari Om, ma'am. Hari Om, ma'am.
Yeah,
Connectivity issues. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yeah, you're perfectly audible. Complete it quickly.
Now, as we venture forth, yes, ma'am. As we venture forth to the prolific process of creativity, we need to internalize that we as educators play a pivotal role in each and every phase to nurture creativity. Stimulating the students' imagination with real life situations and problems is the first step towards it. We need to aid their preparation by organizing frequent brainstorming sessions, debates, and discussions during teaching learning experience in a classroom. The process of incubation is the most distinctive one. The idea formulated by a child starts to churn in his or her mind. It takes time to take a shape, like writing about a book or composing a piece of music. This stage is a delicate stage, as you cannot rush through it. It can take days, weeks, or months, or sometimes even years. The point is, no one can exercise control on this stage. The next stage is that of insight or illumination. This stage is acknowledged as the classical sign of a creative person. With insight, it is really the idea of the aha moment. A quick thing I shall articulate here is that the aha moment can hit without warning or come about after prolonged deliberation. but it can be the start of something marvelous, a flash that leads to a visionary idea, a solution to a problem, or the impetus for creative expression. The churning of ideas which characterize the previous stage comes to the forefront of the child's mind all of a sudden. Evaluation is the next phase. I feel that lot of creative people struggle with because often you have innumerable ideas and you have limited amount of time. It requires self-criticism and contemplation. It is asking oneself a question like, is this a novel idea or it is one that is rehashed? Thus, the stage of evaluation is the most critical one. Creativity is to be nurtured in the children. The teacher needs to recognize the elements needed to inspire and support the development of these young children. However, I resolutely believe that if we as educators are unaware of the process of creativity, we cannot nurture creativity. Let me draw a beautiful analogy here. What nature is to a sapling, a school is to a child's creative journey. Nature enables a sapling to grow into a thriving plant, while a school empowers a child to attain harmonious development by nurturing his creativity. National Education Policy 2020 further accentuates the role of a school in nurturing creativity. The fundamental principle of the policy is to identify and foster the unique abilities of each child, for which it has proposed two cardinal points: promoting creativity and encouraging critical thinking. Let us now surge ahead and touch upon how to create classrooms that foster creativity hands-on during teaching-learning process. A school has to create opportunities to engage students in creativity. The global health exigency has ushered in a new paradigm of teaching-learning through digital or virtual convergence. As educators, our major concern should be to maximize creative virtual classrooms. We ought to encourage autonomy, accept multiple perspectives, allow transfer of knowledge, and facilitate the ventures. There are many opportunities to engage in creativity. Foster a question-friendly environment, make room for visual reflection, practice generating core ideas and skills, model creativity in the classroom, introduce unconventional learning materials. Let me digress a bit and intimate to you all that the major drawback is that in spite of providing innumerable opportunities, the dwindling participation is a matter of concern for most of the schools. We are familiar with the bright ones answering or participating in a classroom session actively, while the average students tend to shy away. Major efforts should be invested to increase participation for all inclusive teaching learning experience. Let us now discuss some methods.
Meena, you need
Let
to
us
wind
now
up.
discuss some
Are you,
methods
Meena,
in
trying to
these
wind up?
opportunities. Yes.
Hello?
Creativity in classroom should be truly rewarded, and positive reinforcements from out end can motivate others in the class to manifest their dormant creativity. We can bring about 360-degree approach to promote and nurture creativity can only bring about a radical transformation in the pedagogical paradigm. It should be a charismatic collaboration of all the stakeholders in a child's educational journey. A daunting task lies ahead. Every child is born creative. The challenge is to keep that creativity alive. Let's empower them. You are successful and creative only when you see an opportunity in every difficulty. Thank you and Hari.
Thank you. Thank you, Meena. That was a very, very nice presentation. Something very important takeaway is, in hurry, creativity cannot be nurtured. We are all in a hurry today. It's a fast moving world. Children are fast. They want fast food. They want fast results, immediate results. Today I start learning Bharatanatyam. Tomorrow I have to perform. So that is the fast world is a big objection to creativity. I think it's an obstacle to creativity. That is something very important, valid point. And also I like the way she presented the stages of creativity, when it incubates, when it is materializes and things like that. So we have to allow the time in the classroom. That was very, very beautifully presented. I think we need to congratulate all the three speakers. They did a fantastic job. I can see that the homework done by them is really good. Once again request, we are putting this recorded videos in YouTube. Please show it to your teachers. Take up any one of the topics. We plan to do it for 5 weeks. And then 15 topics are there. One topic you can take, let teachers come out and do a presentation in your staff room or staff meetings. So that will make a very big difference to the schools. Thank you so much. I have to thank all the three speakers, Gauri Amma, Kishorji and Meena Vilku. That was a very, very nice presentation. On behalf of Education Cell, I have to thank you. We have Swami Anukulananda with us, and today we are blessed. In fact, Swamiji is a veteran in CVP, veteran in conducting sessions, and veteran in so many things. And is very, very fortunate that he's attended all the three, listened to the speakers today. I want him to give his comments before we close down. Swamiji, Pujya Swamiji, welcome you, Swamiji.
Hari Om, Hari Om.
Hari Om, Swamiji.
My first congratulations to Gauri Amma, Kishorji and Meenaji. In fact, I'm listening to you taking sessions for the first time. The topics were very, very beautiful. Collaboration between teachers, manifold perspective of teachers and creative teaching. Very relevant topics. So it was nice that all of you presented a whole perspective. The understanding of the topic was there, plus the different aspects that need to go into each of the things to happen, as well as what are the tips that we can follow in order to make that happen. So the presentation was also very, very holistic. Thank you very much for that. And then only one thing that I would have really liked to see is some activities where we would have engaged more of our teachers. That would have been really beautiful. And second is, in particular, I like PPT presentation. There are a lot of pictures and photographs to see, rather than a lot more text and all that. So if we can work on that, then that'll be beautiful. Just an idea about creativity that you had mentioned. I liked one point which you had mentioned, and one more point which I thought I could bring in. We were making the movie on Pujya Gurudev, on a quest. So the shooting was going on, and in the set at that time was a scene where we had a particular character. That character was played by the principal of the Film Institute of Chennai. The principal of the Film Institute of Chennai, and then we were having a conversation, and he said something very interesting. All of us know that the entire film industry is based on creativity. And then as we were talking about creativity and things, he said one statement which struck me very strongly. He said creativity is useless unless it is available in time. He said, my students are all wonderfully creative, but they don't bring out a movie in the particular time that is required, then the movie doesn't happen. So then, as much as creativity takes time to manifest, no doubt about it, it takes its own time. At the same time, productivity is also important. So creativity in the world also has to have productivity in its commercial aspect as well. So therefore the balance between time and creativity also has to be kept in mind. Having said that, how do we make our teaching in such a way that we allow space for creativity? Because instructional classroom is actually opposed to creativity, is it not? Because creativity involves thinking of the student and instruction involves thinking of the teacher. And therefore, how do we transform our classrooms from instructional mode to creative mode? That becomes very important. And the second point that I really liked, which Meenaji mentioned, was the collaboration between creative thinking and critical thinking. Many times we fall so much in emotional love with our creativity that we are unable to judge whether it is creative enough for presentation or production. So that way, having a balance between objectivity and our emotions was also very, very beautiful. And she also brought in the idea of original ideas which have values creativity, which is very, very beautiful, right? As Ken Robinson had mentioned. So therefore, we can be creative, but the creativity has to have a value. Value not only in terms of monetary value, but value that enhances the life of people who are using it. That was very, very beautiful. And another on the teacher, as a visionary teacher, as a creative person, so many beautiful ideas were brought out. So thank you very much. And in that, the analogy of the water tank was very, very interesting. That if the water in the tank is pure, then the water in the tap also will be pure. That was very beautiful, because that spoke about this concept of self-empowerment. Because it is the teaching aids are really not outside. The teaching aid is what happens within the teacher. Once the teacher is empowered, automatically everything happens beautifully. Technology can serve the person only when the person is empowered. So therefore, to work on that, that idea was very beautiful. Thank you very much for that, Kishore sir. And Gauri Amma, thank you so much. You had presented so many beautiful ideas on collaboration. That is beautiful as to how it helps, how collaboration should take place, how there has to be a common vision so that collaboration can be directed towards it, how leadership should very, very importantly create further leadership. That was very beautiful. Otherwise, sometimes what happens is there is a leader, fantastic leader, but when the leader goes away, there is nobody else to lead in that particular place. So that way also empowerment of leadership was touched upon, which was very, very beautiful. Thank you very much. I enjoyed being part of the session, and I also got a few tips which I can remember in working in CIRS and with everyone around. Thank you. Thank you, Shanti Amma, for inviting me to this session. And Hari Om to everybody, and happy Diwali as well. Hari Om.
One more week is there, Swamiji. Diwali next week we should wish each other. But I think it was wonderful having you here, Swamiji. It made us all. It made so much of your presence inspires all of us, and I'm sure. And I'm so happy about all the principals joining in this. I've been talking about it. We are together. We should do things together, and we will make Chinmaya Vidyalaya stand apart from the rest of the schools. When we are together, I think we can do wonders. And Swamiji's inputs are very, very beautiful. Thank you so much, Swamiji. So we meet again next week. We have the session next week is going to be by, you can take a look at that. We have Srimati Yamuna Prakash, principal from Chinmaya Vidyalaya Banashankari. She's going to talk about the creativity we touched upon. Now it is enhancing. Critical thinking was done by Vijay Lakshmi. And now we are going to talk about the communication skills, what teachers, how they can enhance communication skills. Then we have Srimati Shobha Manan, principal from Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Thrissur, Kerala. She is going to say, we have heard SWAD, schools with a difference. Here, teachers with a difference. TWAD is what she is going to address about it. And we have Srimati Sarmishta Satpati, principal, Chinmaya Vidyalaya, Rourkela, Odisha. She is going to talk about partnering with parents, a very, very important aspect of our school. It's how do we collaborate with the parents? Parents become a part of it, then they are not opponents, but they become a party to us. So that is something which is a wonderful move which we need to take. All of us need to think about it. So these are the 3 principles we are going to come. Do not forget to sign up at 10 o'clock sharp. 5 minutes before you come, have your videos on. Some of you are not having your videos on. Please come exactly by 9:45, 9:50. I open up as a host at 9:40. I always sign up at 9:40 so that people can join, and at that, from the beginning of the session. Thank you so much to everybody. Let's all now say the prayer and close with the prayer. And let's special thanks to Swami Anukulananda ji and to all of you. And please do not miss to come the next week. We should have the continuous support, and we should work together on this. It's a growing evolution for all of us. Thank you all so much. Hari Om, and have a wonderful weekend. Wish you all a wonderful time. Thank you so much.